Hi again, Constantine the Foolosopher here. Today I'm going to talk about inflation and my experience with it, and also give you the effects on society and what you can do about it. Um, Basically, I had the chance, in the quote, to experience, inflation firsthand in 1984 when I went back to Greece from France, and I saw the prices, very cheap. I took a taxi for like 35 minutes for $1. I couldn't believe it. I was like, is it I saw 1.00. I was like, is it 100? I didn't understand. I was like, is that $100? It was so far. No, it's like $1. Like, wow. I remember I used to go for dinner then. 4 people for like $3, $4, tip included. To a nice restaurant near the beach, Greece, good food, fresh. In those days I wasn't vegan as a kid, so yeah, a lot of meat, no cheap stuff, good quality, oil refill, fresh oil from Greece, pita refill for free. I mean, everything was so cheap, probably even the charge. But I remember the bread was free. There was so much stuff for free, the oil, you can have the whole bottle pretty much of fresh oil for nothing. And I guess a few months later, I think 6 months later or 9 months later, suddenly I saw, prices, slowly going a few pennies here, up, a few pennies there, up, like the newspaper, boom, 5 cents there, 5 cents here, things moving, hello, and slowly, this wouldn't end, it was just the beginning. It started going everywhere, the fares, the food. I mean, the restaurant, forget about it. I mean, everything started going very expensive. So what happened is that, sorry, I'm trying to protect my dog because she will bite back. So I love those dogs here, but you gotta scare them. So so what happens is like, we used to go out all the time, and suddenly it becomes like, it became like a luxury. Because all this was happening because Greece was joining the European community, that was the reason, always the reason, of course. So they had to catch up with the pricing, I guess. So they had to go from $1 fare to, taxi fare to, 40, 50, like the way it's in Europe. So that happened within 6 years, 1984 to 1990. I saw it, my own eyes, I was there every day. I would tell you, once a week, everything was going, up. Like the ice cream, this and that. Few pennies here, few pennies there. Trust me, it's 50 times a month. When you see maybe let's say be nice, 10 times a year you see each product going up. You have things going very, very high in price, and the quality goes down. Of everything, the quality of life. Anyway, so I've seen it firsthand, and then I came to America, and everything was fine in '93 for many years. So I think for two decades, yeah. Almost 2 decades. And after COVID, especially, that's where everything started going downhill. Deja vu. And this, I mean, it has been like 5 years there too, and I was able to, 6 years now, and I was able to, get out of there. Kind of like, I did leaving Greece in 1990. One of the reasons was that, it's just there's no value, you pay more and you get the same salary. You pay 10 times more. Like I said in the previous video, you used to. Sorry, check the camera because I'm recording this one. Yeah, so like I said, like in America, when I went to 93, 97, an apartment in Santa Monica was like $70,000 to $100,000, duplex. No, sorry, 2-floor, 2-bedroom. Now you get the same apartment for like $1 million if you're lucky. 10 times more. And the salary since then, double max. Triple maybe, some. So yeah. So you tell me, the value. When it goes down like this, the effects are numerous. First, the first thing I observe is relationship, like I said, like divorces, like family, no family, people don't give birth, they cannot, you can't afford to have a family. You can barely survive. Divorces because, guess what? Money brings arguments. When you lose your job, one salary cannot, pay the bills anymore. When you have kids. So divorcing, and people, especially now with the internet, they find better options, overnight, or, like you saw the guy on, the guy who cheats, CEO of LinkedIn, people, they get distracted, tempted, too many temptations, anything but stoic in this generation. So, divorces, number one, I would say, they're worse, relationships. Number two on the list, equally bad, insane, is depression, anxiety, anger, all those things, mental issues. People losing their brains, people, men going in women's bathrooms, competing in women's sports, angry, drivers, divided people, hate, they don't want to listen to your, to your opinion. Everybody's opinionated with their, version, left and right. Everything gets distorted. So it becomes kind of like, Rome, Let me show you a bit the view. That's decadence, where everything falls apart. I've seen so many, anyway. Yeah, the anger, the division, it's terrible. I don't remember such a level. I think since Rodney King, when I went there was some kind of division. Okay, people were in their groups, all the blacks together, or the Mexicans, for a while. But that was pretty much it. It was okay. It was like, a moment, a little lapse, and it was okay, back to normal. But this is next level. Because it has to do with money, When money comes in the middle, interest, like, all these, like, Black Lives Matter, all these division, just, women rights, can I just go next level, where feminism going crack, that's what I'm saying, too much of something. You start losing your brain, you're off common sense. Another thing I noticed is, so I'm reading my notes because, I'm reading like earlier. Yeah, you lose hope. The kids nowadays, especially on the phone all day, there's nothing to, they have all the data, why struggle when everything's 10 times more expensive? And you make double. What's the point? What's the motivation? Your paycheck is worth nothing, Like, like, I know people who save money for like 10 years. Well, their money now is like worth half. There's no Bitcoin. And Bitcoin's gonna go down one day eventually. But anyway, let's not talk about that for now. Also, I forgot to mention about the relationships, the dating market has become transactional now. Everything, people can afford to live alone, they need to, you have to buy dinner, you have to, they need, can't feed themselves. So it becomes like, some, those gold digger websites, whatever you call them, sugar daddy, they need, to pay the bills, They need to get like, a recurring payment, income to, sleep around. That's how, the new relationships are now. Transaction. Sorry, I checked my camera because I don't want to cut off again. I spent like 20 minutes walking earlier. Anyhow, so another thing, loss of hope, guess what? Brings weakening, of the human, people. You cannot afford a house. It weakens your manhood. Especially for men, it's very hard, like, you need to be motivated to, to achieve things, So you can't afford a house. Now it's unimaginable to, ever buy one, to be able to afford one. It's out of the question. So what's the motivation? That's why people play video games all the time. They listen to, TikTok all day or watch whatever clips. Yeah, there's no. Then you see it in art, Hollywood, garbage movies. Same recycling. Number 2, number 3, same crap. Same recycling. Star Wars 10, same story, same same old bull. Avengers 10. I don't know what's going on here. I used to like Spider-Man and Superman. I was in the 80s. I always crave to see movies and stuff. And now they abuse it, because there's nothing to offer. There's nothing. It's the same crap. Music, same. Everything sounds the same. Then they talk about perversion, pedophilia, DD parties, whatever. The decadence, Caligula, Nero, ancient Rome. This is where we are now. Next level. I mean, I'm trying to see my list if I forgot anything else. And then you add on top of it, the AI, and you have like, a full disaster coming. I mean, yeah. Now I think I noticed, of course, because, like I said, the prices are so expensive, people go homeless. The amount of homelessness is next level. At least here, the people who are homeless, I mean, they can build like a little hut here and live there, for free. You don't have to go in the streets and yell. There, because, they go mental, they need drugs. They have no respect in the streets, People, go crazy. They yell, they always threaten people, they smash windows, Anyway, it's out of control. It's really out of control. Anger, dirty, things like, it's like a third world country. It's really sad to say. It kind of feels like, it becomes like the movie Metropolis. Everybody goes like, slaves to work, but there won't be any work. It's kind of like the same thing, Hello there, how are you? I mean, it's, yeah. This is, welcome to 2025. So hopefully, this place, that's why you have to escape, find a nice place where people, at least have some values, some tradition. And trying to escape from this, before, I mean, this, and the point of this video is to tell you that this won't be an easy fix. Japan is still struggling, since the 90s, they've been, stagnant, everything is like, they have no kids, worse, kids, birth rates, after like Korea. So, it's terrible. No kids, no families, like I said earlier. Since the 90s. Greece, 40 years. Japan, 30 plus. America, 5, but it was the cracks were there before. But, and that's the beginning. It's just the beginning. It doesn't stop. It won't stop. It will take generations and generations to fix this. So hopefully it won't spread like a disease even here, in Asia. I wouldn't be surprised if it does, because the globalists will love that one. And, well, that's a plan, eventually. Step by step, baby steps. But hopefully here, because the values are, and the culture is different, maybe we take it longer. Unfortunately, I see many people with the phone, and I'm a bit concerned, the new generation. Hopefully, the parents can be on top of it. But I highly recommend you to escape before you go insane, because there won't be an easy fix. You only get worse. And, it takes time to fix it. It's like Romans, The Greeks too, still trying to fix, Romans too. If you look at history, I guess, it takes more than hundreds of years, I guess. I mean, I don't know. I really don't know. I have to read more books and get, informed. Please, leave a feedback or comment, So anyhow, I would recommend you to take an action, On my next video, I'll talk about that too. Take action and make some moves before, things get worse and you get stuck, and you can't get out. Get your passport. Look around for better opportunities. Feel free to call me, contact me, leave a message, comment, and say hello to Luna. See you on the next one. Take care now.